Welcome back to the Fourth Down Focus. We're very sorry that we missed last week. We were very busy, as I'm sure you can imagine. But we are going to, on this episode, touch on the championship games briefly, although no one really cares. It's been over a week since they happened. We'll obviously look at the Super Bowl, because that's this weekend. And on this episode, we'll be doing our NFL honours for the year. So, as always, I'll pass it over to James, as he has the running order of things.
Yeah, so we'll start with the Eagles Commanders because I feel like it was the least interesting of the two games, especially because the Eagles put 55 points on the Commanders' head and put people like Kenny Pickett in the game. So, Max, we'll start off. What are your thoughts on this one?
I fucking barely remember. It's been that long. We should have done an episode last week, but the Eagles basically battered the Commanders. At the start of the game, I remember it being like a bit close, but then the Eagles just kind of took off. Saquon Barkley did exactly what he's done all season, just ran through everyone. That first touchdown he had was ridiculous. The Eagles in the Super Bowl against the team that we're going. We all know it's the Chiefs. It's the boring Super Bowl that no one wanted to see, and I'm as excited about it as I look. So,
I mean, I did say it was going to be this. As much as I hated to be so pessimistic, but it was always going to happen.
We knew this. We just didn't want to admit it.
Yeah, I just got over the part of me having any hope it would be interesting because I knew with the NFL it absolutely wasn't going to be. All I'll say is Will Shipley got 77 rushing yards, so we know why Saquon's been so good this season. Good little system for him there. But no, I said the Commanders would bottle it once they played a fairly decent team, and I was correct. They got absolutely battered by.
They did beat the Lions, to be fair.
Yeah, who have been defensively crippled with injuries for the last 6 weeks.
But you still backed the Lions against the Commanders, James, despite that.
Yeah, I did because I thought I didn't realize how bad the injuries actually were in Detroit. But
do your research, mate. You're a professional analyst.
When I saw them, I thought they'd be all right, but they really weren't. But yeah, the fact Kenny Pickett came into this game probably tells you all you need to know about how it went. Was fairly easy for the Eagles. I don't think there was any ever point of potential struggle for them in that entire game. 55 points in a playoff game is absurd. I think it was 6 rushing touchdowns between Hurts and Barkley. So it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic works against a much better Chiefs defense than what the Commanders had to show in that game. But yeah, just a pretty boring sort of game. Kian?
The only thing I can remember from it is Frankie Louvu.
Oh God, yeah.
Pinging himself over the offensive and defensive line.
Yeah.
Like he was on some sort of fucking springboard. That was unbelievable. That's genuinely all I remember.
What was it? The ref said they'd award them a score if they kept doing it.
Yeah, they did.
I've never seen that ever.
I bet Mahomes was buzzing.
Unlocked a new penalty.
Yeah.
I've never seen that ever happen in a game, by the way. I don't know if it's just you haven't got linemen jumping over the entire whatever it is on the 1 yard line normally, but yeah, Leverage decided to do whatever he was doing. Someone else did it as well, I swear. Like they false started and made it even worse.
Probably, I can't remember. It got a bit weird near the end.
Yeah, it was a very strange game.
It was like when you're playing an online game of Madden and you're clearly winning. It's like last 5 minutes and they just start moving the defense, just giving penalties, just to waste time.
Pretty much. So the more interesting game was the Chiefs-Bills. 3-score win for the Chiefs. In interesting fashion, some may say. I'll see you shaking head, so who wants to start on this one?
I'll start.
Okay.
Firstly, how is that a catch?
Yeah.
Xavier Worthy. The ball quite literally hits the floor. The video evidence shows the ball hit the floor, but that's not enough. Allen got the first down, but they just didn't do enough in the end. The Bills, anyone slagging Allen off doesn't have a brain because he literally gave them a great chance right at the end out of absolutely nothing. And if Kincaid makes that catch, it's one of the best plays you've ever seen. But I think it's what we all deep down expected, that the Bills were going to go and bottle it again. Will they ever win it? Who knows?
So you said deep down for everyone apart from me. Because I just
grow up.
I just had no hope with this being actually fun. I also really wanted the Bills to win this game because I really didn't want to have to pick between the Chiefs and Eagles in the Super Bowl. So I'm now, like the rest of the population outside of Philadelphia and Kansas, rooting for a meteor strike on the stadium. Yeah, this game was just, as you said, that catch was brilliant from a bet, but apart from that, it was a horrific goal. I just don't get it. I mean, I do get it. They get it every week, but it's just ridiculous at this stage how much they can get away with. Mahomes, though, 2 rushing touchdowns. I didn't really expect that, in all fairness, but he did really well. I just think, as I said, the Bills' defense might struggle, and they weren't that bad, but I just think it was just certain plays. But again, as I said, it's just stuff like the worthy catch. That's a score when it probably shouldn't have been. There's a Josh Allen first down. That's pretty much all I can really remember from this game because it was so long ago. But just a close game where the Chiefs have been given a few nice decisions, and it's got them over the line in the end. But as you said about that Kincaid catch, if he makes that, it would have been a very interesting end to the game. Max?
I think the only way I can sum up this game, or even the Chiefs season in general, is the video that I saw of the reporter. I don't know if he's like an actual reporter who was just there. The guy asking Travis Kelce at the Super Bowl week press conference if he prefers Taylor Swift or phantom 15-yard penalties in playoff games. That like you've already gone over pretty much everything that happened. There was the Josh Allen first down, the worthy catch. There were numerous penalties that probably shouldn't have been penalties. I personally actually thought the Bills might do it this time. And I remember we were obviously watching it, me and Yuki, and it was getting down to the end, and we were talking through like tactics as if we were like Andy Reid. We were like, they need to have this much time to block and don't let them get the ball back. But the Chiefs' defense at the end just did enough to force them into a tricky situation. Josh Allen couldn't make the pass to Kincaid, or Kincaid couldn't grab it, whatever. And now we've got to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl again, probably get the three-peat, and I might just stop watching the sport, to be honest. If anyone wants to see an NBA podcast, me and James will do it. Go Cavs.
Yeah, I mean, pretty sums it up. So we'll move on to the news of the week, and we'll start with Max's favourite topic.
No.
Myles Garrett has requested a trade away from the Cleveland Browns. You know what? I'm just going to shut up and let Max say whatever he has to say about this. I don't think anything needs to be added apart from what Max is about to say.
Keep it clean.
In memory of my hero. This is because of 2 people. Andrew Berry, the Browns GM, and Deshaun Watson. If Andrew Berry wasn't a mindless fucking idiot, and if Deshaun Watson wasn't the worst, if Deshaun Watson wasn't the worst trade in sports history, some people think the Luka Doncic trade that happened recently was worse. I had to get it in somehow. It's not. Deshaun Watson's trade is the worst trade of all time. He's led to multiple players leaving or previously asking for trade requests. Myles Garrett's now leaving. Joel Bitonio has said that if Myles leaves, he might retire. Today it broke that Denzel Ward might want to leave if Myles leaves. We're fucked, basically. If we thought we had a bad season this year, next year is going to be worse. And our best player since Jim Brown is gone.
It's all right, mate. You'll draft Abdul Carter and you'll be fine.
Yay. Fucking buzzing.
Wait, I'll just stay away from the Browns part of this because I feel like you summed it up quite quick, and I'll look more on where he could go to. There's pretty much 0 teams in the NFL who would probably not want to have Myles Garrett. I can't imagine.
He's the best defensive player in the league. He walks onto any team.
He does walk onto any team, but he's not the best defensive player in the league. I'm not getting into that. Anyway.
I think not now.
I saw something, and it was the Commanders are quite heavily sort of linked with.
That wouldn't shock me. I'd quite like to see that as well.
They've got like 100 million cap space, so they can afford it.
I think that's a likely spot, and I'd also much rather him go to the NFC, so we don't have to see him as often.
I reckon Detroit just literally break the league and have Aiden Hutchinson and Myles Garrett on each edge and just literally just win every single game for eternity.
Also, this is aimed at everyone on Twitter who's fucking stupid. I'm sick of seeing trade rumors. Would you do this trade, Browns fans? And it's to the fucking Patriots. The reason he's leaving is because he wants to win a Lombardi. Why would you go to the Patriots? They're picking 2 picks behind us. I'm really upset. We're gonna have to.
We can't tell.
No, honestly, it's definitely not a sore subject or anything.
It's ruined my week.
I mean, Does anything more to say about this game, or should we just keep dragging out just so Max has to
I
settle
think we
in?
should leave
I'll
it
quit
with
the
what he
podcast
said.
if you keep dragging it out.
We can't add anything as fun as what he's just said.
Very true. We'll move on to another trade, which Max won't cry about. Cooper Cup.
Wait.
Oh,
I hope
wait.
Sean Watson burns in hell. Carry on.
Right. Okay. So we'll move on. Cooper Cup is being traded away from the Rams after being drafted there, staying there his whole career so far. I mean, I personally sort of picked up on, if you saw in the last few games, he wasn't really getting the normal targets he were like throughout the whole season beforehand. And now it finally came through that he is going to be leaving LA. So more to the question on this one, Kean, where does he go realistically?
I think it's a weird one. There's a lot of teams that need a wide receiver one, which he obviously still can be. For me, the obvious one is to Green Bay. That's a team who's absolutely lacking a wide receiver one, and they could use his talent massively. That's what I wouldn't mind seeing. I think that, give Jordan Love some weapons. I don't rate him much, but see what he's like with real weapons. But apart from that, I just hope he comes to the Raiders, to be honest.
Max?
I just complained about the Myles Garrett to the Patriots rumors, but imagine Cooper Kupp on the Patriots as the new Julian Edelman, another white guy as receiver one. They've got a cap room.
They have loads of cap, don't they?
They have the most cap. I think it's them. I think it's like them, Raiders, Commanders, top three.
Something like
Yeah,
that,
we're up there, definitely.
I think you all three have got over 100 mil, I'm pretty sure. But it'd be interesting because does anyone know how old Cooper Kupp is nowadays?
In his 30s, definitely.
Right. I just think
I want to say 32.
it depends on, for something that depend on what you have to give up to get him, because you don't want to fork out a fortune for a receiver in his 30s realistically. But at the same time, he can be your top guy if he performs the levels that he's shown so far in his career, maybe bar this season. But
Cooper Kupp is 31 years of age. His birthday is in June, so by next season he'll be 32.
So what age do receivers normally play to? Like, not much far off that, is it?
I'd say a receiver's prime is 28.
He's past his prime. I just think it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. Someone will take him. Like, you'd be stupid not to if you could get him on a decent deal.
He's still talented.
He's incredibly talented receiver.
It's not a long-term option.
Yeah.
It's like if you need a quick fix, maybe for like a competing team who wants a better receiver, like Green Bay, it probably would be perfect because it's a quick fix for now until you can find someone better. But you keep doing that.
He's needed for a team that are in their win now window.
Yeah, you don't want to
rebuilding.
That's what someone say. Get Stafford and Cup on the Giants, and
it's a bit like the DeAndre Hopkins trade to Kansas City, really, isn't it? He's still got a bit left in him. Take him to a good team. He's probably going to win a ring. Do the same thing with Cooper Kupp to another winning team.
Yeah, it makes sense. But we'll see where he ends up. I'll leave the game news so last. We'll go for one last move, and it's Russell Wilson. He will be leaving the Pittsburgh Steelers at the end of the season, and I've got a feeling, Kean, you might know where he might be ending up.
Yeah, as much as I don't really want it, I think he probably will be our quarterback next year. He's got that strong relationship with Pete Carroll. It makes so much sense for that to be the move he makes. And if he does, he's a solid bridge, but I'd rather not spend the money that he'll want and just deal with what we've got and wait a few drafts because we're not in our win now window anyway. So,
Max, do you think it'll be Vegas for Russell Wilson?
I think it's probably his most likely destination. I don't think it's nailed on, but I think it seems likely. The news of him, I mean, this broke just before we started recording, like half an hour maybe. It's interesting. Are they keeping Fields? Are they getting rid of both? Moving on?
I think it looks like they're resetting completely and getting rid of both.
I've been under the impression through the most of this, not off season, but since the season ended for the Steelers, that Fields was going to be a free agent or trade capital or something. So it's interesting to see what they're going to do because they're not in position to draft anyone. So I don't know who they're going to bring in. I think they'd be stupid to let go of both of them, especially Fields, because there's something there. I'm a big fan of Justin Fields personally, got his Bears jersey. James, not a fan of that choice, but I think there's something there, and I think they'd be stupid to let Fields go as well as Wilson. Wilson, maybe not. He's aging. He's not looked himself for the past few years, in my eyes. Although he did have a few good games this season for the Powell twirling wankers. Yeah, it's a weird one. I'm not sure where he's going to go, but I think Vegas is probably the most likely spot.
It's interesting, as you said, like, is it the sensible thing to do to get rid of both? But I feel like they need a reset because they just
now's the time for it.
I mean, they're not picking high enough up to get, unless there's a world where they take like a Jackson Dart, a Jalen Milroe somewhere later on in the draft.
But then they still need someone else.
Bridge.
Yeah, but what's the point in signing a bridge when you've already got a guy like Justin Fields?
Yeah. If I was them, I'd keep Fields and draft a younger guy in the later, like round 2, 3. I'd go like a Dart, a Milroe, somewhere like high upside but needs a while to develop, and sit in behind Fields for a year or two and just see how it goes. Because they need something different, because whatever they've got going on is not enough to win playoff games. And it probably should be. I think the roster's good enough.
I still think it's Mike Tomlin, but he's just not going to get fired.
No way.
No.
This might be like bias because they're my least favorite team in the entire world, but I just think it's Mike Tomlin. I don't know. He's been there for how long? What have they won? Recently?
It is a fair point, but at the same time, have they had a receiver that's the best in the team in general that's been the best in the NFL at any point in his tenure?
No.
So I don't think they'd have.
But I don't think getting rid of both of their quarterbacks is going to help them step towards that, especially anytime soon. Especially if you're thinking about drafting a Jackson Dart, a Jalen Milroe, a Will Howard, maybe Dylan Gabriel, any of them.
Will Howard seems to be flying at people's draft boards at the minute. After
I don't mind. I'd take him in Cleveland. I love Will Howard as a Buckeye.
You wouldn't take him where you are, though.
Not at 2, but maybe in the 2nd or the 3rd. But it depends what kind of draft capital we get back from Myles Garrett. I'm hoping if he has to go, bringing it back to this, I hope if he has to go, we'd sell him before draft day. Because
would you not want like 26 picks rather than 25?
You can get both of those now. I'd want something this year too, as well as building next year.
Softens the blow a bit.
But I suppose Abdul Carter is your direct replacement and will probably be very, very good.
I don't think we're nailed on to take Abdul Carter personally, especially with rumours that Travis Hunter might go to the Titans before us, or even Abdul Carter might go to the Titans before us. Stop praying. Worry about it. There's a chance that if Cam Ward and Shador are both on the board, we take one of them because the QB situation's dire. Obviously, Abdul Carter's a big one, but there are other edge rushers in this draft that look good. I like a lot of them that we could take. If we say we traded with the Chargers, they're picking at 22. I think we could pick another edge rusher there that would not maybe be as good as Abdul Carter, but would fill a similar gap. And then we also take a QB or a Travis Hunter at 2.
I just don't see what the Chargers would need that desperately to trade up to 2. Or what many teams would need.
No, they're trading for Myles Garrett. We're not trading
for Myles Garrett. Right, okay,
for Myles Garrett.
What do you think? You think you'll get a first round pick this year for Myles Garrett?
I don't think if we get multiple first rounders, we're getting 2 maximum. People are saying 3 first rounders. That's ridiculous. That's not going to happen because he's handed in a trade request. It's not like the Khalil Mack situation a few years ago where he didn't really want to leave. They had to pry him away. He wants out, so teams are going to offer less. And he might also get the choice of where he goes. So I don't think we're getting 3 first rounders like people are saying. I think we'd be lucky to get 2.
It'd be interesting to see what you get for him. So we'll move on from that. We'll go to some other sort of general news. And I'll start with, you brought this up a minute ago before we start recording, Max. Liam Cohen obviously got appointed as the head coach.
I'm not doing it.
Oh!
And that has been all over social media with his interesting rendition of Duval.
Every time I go on TikTok, it's the first thing that comes up.
Where have you got one, Max?
I was at the fucking game.
No, you're not me.
Max.
Oh, fair.
He went to the game and come back and said, Jags flag. I was like, yeah, Duval, let's
I've
go.
got one in my room as well from last year.
Duval.
Yeah, that has gone around social media. If Max
The
wants to bring it
Jags
up,
are
so
finishing. The Jags are finishing with 2 wins. This guy's a
Yeah.
fucking clown.
it was probably the
Jacksonville,
worst
the
thing I've ever seen.
community.
Oh god, I'm not doing
Clipping
it.
that out. I'm clipping that out.
Yeah, that's on TikTok in about 10 minutes after this recording's done. You know what? I'm just gonna leave it because that is just horrific.
We can leave it
if you
at
haven't seen
that.
the clip,
Nothing else to
please
say.
find it. Please find it if you haven't found the clip already because it is worth a watch and it will cringe you out because it is really strange.
And then he did
It's
the
really
second one.
creepy.
He did the second one as well, and it wasn't much better.
It's really
Oh, yeah,
scary.
the second one. You know, it's just really like I don't like it at all. I hate
The
watching it.
clip actually freaks me
Wow.
out.
Yeah, it's just oh god, we're just gonna leave it because it's freaking me out even thinking about it. The last bit of news from this sort of week or two was the Melbourne game. So we will have a game in Australia in 2026, and the Rams will be the designated home team. So a big fan base in Australia finally gets rewarded with a game. My thought on this, I don't know about you two. I'll let whichever one of you wants to chip in on it. But is this a bit of a logistical nightmare for the schedule?
A little bit.
I can't. Do you know? I can't say I'm too arsed about this game. I'm not going to fucking go, am I?
No. It's
It'd
going to
be
be on
easier
at
to
10 in the
go-
morning for us.
Easier,
Probably.
it will be easier for us as UK fans to go to the States and watch.
Yeah.
I don't,
How
is
big
the
is the
sport
fan base
big?
down there?
Is the sport big?
It's
Yeah.
very big, apparently.
I thought
Is
they were
it?
about the rugby league like me. Some normal people.
I think apparently, yeah, they kept saying they need to do something for them. I didn't expect this, but I sort of thought they'd do something. But but they said week 1. So does that then lead to a week 2 bye for the teams playing?
Does anyone get a week 2 bye? I felt like
I don't think they
it's a
do,
bit
but that's
of
what I
a-
mean. They're going to have to, surely.
It's a bit of a logistical nightmare, but it is nice to see the sport traveling all over.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's a cool thing,
because
definitely. I just think it's going to cause
when
issues with the schedule.
When we all started watching it, the only international game was London,
which is all right for us.
Yeah.
which is great for us. But it's
Obviously-
nice. It's nice to see it becoming more of an international sport than.
I mean, yeah, we should see an Ireland game coming soon as well, I think.
Is that not college?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, they were apparently the
that's NFL
Steelers in Ireland or something. That's what I've seen.
Steelers.
Yeah.
Steelers, Packers, apparently.
Way
Yeah.
too close to me for my liking. No. Get them
Yeah,
away.
Steelers Packers is what's been rumoured about it. I don't know how true that is,
Yeah.
but it could go to Ireland as well. But then is there a point where it comes too many games are abroad and then the Americans start to lose a lot of games in a season?
I'm not losing that many.
I think they'll end up being 18 international games a season.
What,
Is
like
there
one-
18 places to play it though?
I think one a week.
I mean, we are growing to what, like Kean said, when we all started watching the sport, it was London. And now you've got, what, you've got Brazil, was I done last season?
You got Brazil, you got London, you got
Spain,
Madrid,
Melbourne.
yeah.
Melbourne,
Germany, Melbourne.
2 in Germany,
It's
They
growing.
played in Mexico as well.
Mexico.
That's only that road.
There's 6 because Germany have Berlin and Munich now because of the Berlin announcement recently. But yeah, so we've already got 6 or 7 places where they can play, and obviously they can play anywhere. It's just a case of will they? Is there a reason to go to certain countries and play? I think
Yeah.
Japan's probably. No, Japan and Ireland probably next on that list, I'd imagine.
I do think they are going to keep expanding it, and it's not a bad thing that the sport's growing, but I don't think the Americans are going to be that bothered. They get most of the games. Like, I know Americans are, to us a lot, we think some certain things about American people, but they're not that. Come on, they can't be that bothered. They get all the games. They can share
As
one.
as long as we leave the big games to them,
Yeah.
I don't think they'll care.
I don't think we're ever going to see a Super Bowl.
Well, apparently, Roger Goodell said in an interview about 3 days ago that he thinks if there's an international franchise, there'll be an international Super Bowl.
But
which would be
that's
very
not mean anything unless that team are in it, and they won't.
Yeah.
I just don't
long
see a
time.
world where how an international franchise could work logistically unless it's
No.
in Canada or Mexico. I don't really understand how it could work otherwise.
It wouldn't.
Because
It's
it's
like-
just a nightmare. How
It's
the
like,
fuck?
if there's any by any chance, if there's any rugby league fans watching, In the Super League, the main the Premier League of rugby league, we had a team from Toronto playing in a league with other teams from the M62 in England, basically up north, and that didn't work. It just didn't work. The logistics didn't work. I think it'd be like that.
I think it'd be a nightmare, but we'll soon find out if they ever do it. I can't think they will, but we'll have at least have a game in Australia in 26. We'll be interested to see how it works with the schedule. But that is all the news that we've got to cover for this one. Obviously, there's other bits of news that happened. It was a very busy week, but they're the ones we thought we should highlight. So we will now look to the game that we've also alluded to. The Chiefs versus the Eagles in the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Max, you can start us off just sort of thoughts about this game and what you think is going to happen. This will be our prediction, obviously, as well.
I don't want to watch it, and I'm only bothered because you're coming up from down south, and we're having a few other mates around, and we're off to the pub before it, and I plan to drink enough so that I don't remember the game the day after because I don't care about it.
You taking me? What's that pub called you always go to?
The Welly.
That
is where I work. But yeah, the Eagles. Give me the Eagles.
Prediction or what you want?
That's my prediction. Saquon and vibes. I can't bring myself to say anything else about this game because I don't care. I don't want to watch it, but I'm watching it for a piss up.
Kian?
That's it.
I have to say I agree. Them championship games absolutely killed my excitement for this Super Bowl. I can't get excited about the Chiefs being in it. I don't mind the Eagles. But that being said, every time in the playoffs I've backed against the Chiefs, they've won. So I'm going to back the Chiefs. I want the Eagles to win, but I'm going to back the Chiefs as a bit of a reverse psychology, putting a jinx on them sort of thing.
I don't care about the predictions anymore either because we're not counting any after the season ended, so it doesn't matter.
After I won, just a friendly reminder to you both that I won predictions.
And you also kept all the charts, which means you probably rigged it, man.
You can go through the charts, mate. They're all there.
Rigged numbers.
Doesn't make them any less rigged.
I've not rigged it, I promise you. Max getting like 4 out of 16 in 1 week really did help me win.
It was 5.
Sorry, 5. And I got 13, I think, so that's probably why I did win. But
I had a bad week, man. Let it go. You had a bad week.
I think you tried to be edgy to try and extend your lead against us, and it really, really went wrong.
Get on with
for
the
me,
podcast.
this is I've said it so many times. This is the worst possible scenario because I can't stand either of these two franchises. But I hate the Eagles more, 100%. But I still don't want the Chiefs to win, so I don't really know what to say I want. Because I want a meteor strike on the stadium, ideally, but it's not going to happen.
You never know.
That was my favourite tweet of the year, was literally the graphic was who wants to win, and it was
Philly,
Eagles, Kansas Chiefs, and then everything else meteor strike. But, yeah.
I don't.
It's not even a storyline because I don't want Saquon to win. I don't want the Chiefs to three-peat. There's not really a player I particularly like on any of the teams. I root for Cooper DeJean, even though I hate the Eagles.
This is biased from James. I'm kind of with Kian. I don't want to watch the Super Bowl, but I would much rather the Eagles win. Like, my 2 least favorite teams in the sport are the Chiefs and the Steelers, and one of them is in the Super Bowl. Now I think about it, I don't think there's any NFC team that I really dislike that much. So whoever is facing the Chiefs in any Super Bowl will back the NFC team.
But you can see why, from my perspective, is the complete opposite.
I get it. I do get it.
Let's say now, for Keane, it's a bit of a shit argument because they are literally your divisional rivals. I understand why you don't want to win, but Matt, who's in your division? If the Bengals were in the Super Bowl against someone else,
that made me laugh.
That's the first team I think in your division. Or Steelers, you wouldn't want them to win in any scenario, regardless.
I don't want the Steelers to win a single game any year.
Yeah,
it's because I suppose I can't compare it with the Chiefs because none of your divisional rivals could play the Chiefs in the Super. If it was an AFC Championship and it was Bengals Chiefs, would you still want the Bengals to win that game?
No, that's when I want the meteor strike.
Right. Okay. So you understand why I want the meteor strike then?
If a meteor strike happens, I feel like it's going to disrupt our drinking. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I could
We'll
just.
be a
No,
bit-
it won't be here.
I'm not going to say what I thought I was going to
No,
say.
but I feel like if a meteor hits the pitch and we're watching, I might like drop a can out of shock. That's a waste.
Oh, that's a waste of alcohol as
That's
well.
a waste. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Just drops during Kendrick's halftime show. Be a shambles.
No,
Well, I wouldn't mind that.
No, I do as well. That's why I said don't have. I hope it doesn't happen.
we had this conversation this morning. Keane's not a fan of Kendrick, so he can
He
go.
not?
He can go stand in back garden while that's on.
I'm going to stand out the front, mate.
Just start from booing from the front door.
I'll
I'm
be
going to
sitting
stand
on
next to my car for the entire halftime show.
Grammy-winning Kendrick Lamar, the goat.
Yeah, fucking Chapel Rome won a Grammy, pal.
That's a different.
Beyonce won Best Country Album. So
We're getting really off topic here.
yeah, we are. We've got completely.
We've
off
still got
topic.
the entire NFL honors to get through.
Yeah. Yeah. The Chiefs are going to win. Unfortunately, I don't know how to word what I want to happen because, like, if the Eagles do badly, I'll probably celebrate. I'll just celebrate each team doing badly, and then it's whatever, and just hope the
Every
Eagles
time
lose.
someone goes 3-0,
Yeah, literally. But yeah, I think the Chiefs will win. As much as I've said it the entire time. I'm just being the boring prediction, but it's been right every time. It's probably going to be right again. So I think the Chiefs are going to win. So that's sort of our news and Super Bowl whatever reviews. So we'd probably have a lot more to talk about if this was any other match of the Super Bowl, but because it was boring and unimaginable, there's nothing to say. So we'll move on to the much anticipated of our NFL.
Well, actually, a quick one. Shout out to our friend Andy Davis, who is over in America and absolutely smashing it on this Super Bowl week. Anyone who doesn't watch him,
he's talking to a star from the NFL. We were in the pub before we recorded this. I went on TikTok and he's just there. All right, Travis Kelce. What?
Yeah, no, I couldn't believe it. I didn't even realize until Kean said it. And like before he said it, he came on my TikTok. He was talking to like Buddy Saquon Barkley. I was like, "What is happening here?"
Yeah,
big up, Andy.
Yeah, shout out Andy.
Yes, absolutely. Right, so we'll move on, as I said, to our much anticipated NFL honours of the 2024-25 season. So, as I believe, are they happening tonight in real? Like, obviously, we're recording.
Yes.
We're recording this on Thursday, the 6th of February. So
you'll know basically by the time this comes out who has won each award. So this we may be way off of it, but
we don't know.
We're going to give our MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie, Defensive Rookie, Coach of the Year, our favourite moment from the season, and then we have come up with some of our own.
You've missed comeback player.
Oh, I have missed comeback player.
No, because I didn't put that in because it's the stupidest award in the NFL.
It's going in. We're going to give it. Comeback player is in. Good remember it there, Kim. So we'll start off with the big one, MVP. Kian, who is your NFL MVP?
Who is mine, or who do I think will win it?
No, we're doing our own personal.
Our own picks.
Okay, Josh Allen.
Not who you for no predictions. It's who you want to win MVP.
Josh Allen.
Nothing else. Just Josh
Simple.
Allen.
You got any honourable mentions? I've wrote some honourable mentions down for every award personally. Apart from that, which you'll see.
Honourable mentions. Saquon.
The MVP. You're not even going to throw Lamar in.
No, because he was seeing ghosts in that playoff game, and it made
Josh
me.
Allen not in the... No, you know what?
No, Josh Allen played absolutely fine. No, it's fair. Yeah, Lamar does get an honourable mention. I think he'll probably win the actual award as well.
Max.
I just changed mine now, 5 seconds ago, because I wrote these a few weeks ago. I had Lamar down. I've changed this to Josh Allen because I was on the Josh Allen bandwagon for most of the season, and then I kind of tilted towards Lamar, and then the playoffs happened, and I don't know if the playoffs actually get taken into consideration with the real awards, but I'm doing it. So Josh Allen is my MVP, and my honorable mentions, as I just said, go to Lamar, and also Joe Burrow, as much as it pains me to say, because he's a Bengals gimp. He had a great season, but his team are terrible, so he was never going to win it.
That's probably testament to Joe Burrow that he's ended up in MVP conversations with a team that didn't even make the playoffs.
Great player, but I hate him because he wears them stupid stripy uniforms. So,
I'm going to give it to Lamar Jackson. I think it's a regular season award. Lamar in the regular season was a better quarterback. And, obviously we have the whole playoff. Again, I don't know if they say they don't take it into consideration, but I don't believe it for 1 second. I feel like it's definitely plays a part. If it's like really close and someone gets eliminated first round and someone else goes to the Super Bowl, they're 100% taking the person who goes to the Super Bowl. But yeah, I'm going to go to Lamar Jackson. I just think he was the better quarterback during the regular season. And I think he's still really good in that first Perth game. Struggled, obviously, when he got eliminated. But yeah, I'm going to go Lamar Jackson. I think he was just unbelievable all season. Josh Allen is my honourable mention. And as you said, probably Joe Burrow as well. Not Saquon Barkley can do one. Moving on to Offensive Player of the Year.
Speaking of Saquon Barkley,
Yeah.
he's mine. I've said it since like week 6 of he's Offensive Player of the Year. My honorable mention's got Derrick Henry, who was definitely the second best running back this year, and also Jamar Chase got the triple crown once again on the Bengals. Terrible team. Him and Joe Burrow stood out by a mile, like a sore thumb. So, but Saquon was ridiculous. And he's also involved in another award that I'm going to give later.
Kian?
Kian, you all right, lad?
I weirdly agree with absolutely everything. Offensive Player of the Year. And then Chase and Henry will be my honourable mentions. So
That's a bit of facts.
Yeah, don't know how to put this one because who do I want and who do I think it's going to be is a very different story.
It's no. It's not either of those things. It's not who you want to win it, and it's not who you think is going to win it. It's who you think should win it.
Jamar Chase. No, it's Saquon Barkley. As much as I hate to admit it. Yeah, it just is. I don't even know what the final Russian total was, but it's something ridiculous. He's unfortunately been fantastic, and I was still down on the hill. We should not have kept him. I don't care what anyone says. You're waffling. You think he does this on our team? You're absolutely delusional. He would be the same Saquon Barkley would have been for the entire 6-7 years he was at the Giants, and it would be the exact same this year, regardless of how well he's played. For Philly, their system helps him massively. But Saquon Barkley, and then as you said, Derrick Henry, Jamar Chase, honorable mentions. As I said with Joe Burrow, it's literally mental how they had the Triple Crown winner and an MVP candidate quarterback and didn't make the playoffs. That is absolutely incredible, and I can't remember if that's ever happened before, and I really doubt it has happened to that extent. But
yeah, get them out of there, poor guys.
Yeah, honestly, they need some, or just get them a better defense for God's sake.
No, because I don't want to see them perform well.
Speaking of bias awards, I know what's coming on this one. Defensive Player of the Year. I'm just going to start with Max because I know what he's going to say. Obviously, changed his mind now. He wants to leave.
Let me run you through I've got a few honourable mentions. I'm going to run you through them. Pat Surtain, the second, obviously. His dad's not playing anymore. Xavier McKinney, the safety, Packers, another person that the Giants let go.
See, now we should have kept him.
He had a great season. And also Kirby Joseph had a great season. But they're all players in the secondary. And just like MVP is a quarterback award, this is an edge rusher award. And the best edge rusher in the NFL is Myles Garrett. And he's my pick. I'm sad that he's leaving, but I'm not bringing any. I have nothing against Myles for leaving. I would leave too because we're a shit show. The only other edge rusher I think comes close this season, Hutchinson, I think missed too much time. So TJ Watt was a ghost. He's shit. Don't care. And I've already said Aiden Hutchinson. Dre Hendrickson was all right, but I'm not mentioning another Bengals player. I'm not being that generous. So it's Myles Garrett for me.
Kian?
I think it actually is Pat Surtain. Obviously, the second, not his dad. I think he's just performed consistently very well throughout the season. Honourable mentions, like Max said, I don't think Pat Surtain will win it. It's an edge rusher award. So my honourable mentions are Hendrickson and Garrett. And to be honest with you, I know he's probably going to win defensive rookie of the year. But I'd probably put Jared Verse in the running as well.
You will win.
I think he's had a great season.
We'll get on to that. But yeah, I'm going with Pat Surtain as well. I think he deserves it slightly more than Garrett, because Garrett had a slowish start to the season, obviously got right into it after that. But Surtain was just brilliant all season. That Broncos defense was really good all year round and, helped them massively in their chase for the playoffs. Honourable mentions, as you said, Myles Garrett, obviously. TJ Watt, obviously. Trey Hendrickson as well. You can't just shut up. I'm not having it.
TJ Watt did fuck all this season.
Just shut up. He's just Nah. TJ Watt, Miles Garrett, and Trey Hendrickson. I'd also say Xavier McKinney as well was really good and should definitely be in that conversation. But I'll go with Satan. He was, I don't know if he still is, but he was favourite about 3 weeks ago to win the award, which is very interesting to see.
The main reason I hope Miles Garrett wins it is so that the Browns have to do a tweet about him and just acknowledge him because we've not mentioned him since all this happened. So,
Yeah, that would be.
So we have to do a tweet about him. So Andrew Berry has to sit there and say, "Yeah, tweet about Miles."
I can't imagine Andrew Berry's in charge of social media, but you know.
Yeah.
No, but he probably. I don't.
I thought you want to make him sit there and write the tweet out himself.
I just want Andrew Berry to stub his toe for PR reasons. That's all I'm going to say. Even though I said the Sean Watson burns in hell earlier.
Yeah, I was going to say, PR went out the window at 5 seconds into your Miles Garrett rant.
Sean Watson's committed crimes. Andrew Berry's committed crimes against Cleveland.
Yeah, so that's what I'll say for that. I'll go with Pat Satan and we'll see. I feel like this should be a pretty straightforward one, but we'll start with Kian.
Sorry, you lagged. Was it offensive rookie or defensive rookie?
Offense.
Rookie. I think it's very obviously Jaden Daniels. As much as I sit here and I'd love to say Brock Bowers, Daniels just did that little bit more. He took his team to an AFC Championship game, so you really can't argue against it. Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, I think it's definitely Jaden Daniels.
Max?
I actually have 4 honourable mentions, but we all know who the actual award winner is. So I'll run through them first. Malik Neighbours, great season. Brock Bowers, great season. As much as I take the piss out of James, Bo Nix, great season. And also Joe Alt for the Chargers had a crazy season as a rookie tackle. But Jaden Daniels, you can't say anyone else. If James even tries to say anyone else, I will end this podcast right now.
As I said, it's who I think deserves the award, so I'm going to give it to Jaden Daniels. Who I want is absolutely Bo Nix, but it's not going to happen. Yeah, it's Daniels. Led his team to, as it proved in the Eagles game, it wasn't exactly the most fantastic roster in the world. Led them to an NFC Championship game. You can't argue with it. As much as it pains me that, or people, what does annoy about the whole Jaden Daniels situation, by the way, is that people put up that clip of Sco and Son saying trade up and draft Jaden Daniels, as if anyone in that top 3 was ever going to trade down, because they absolutely weren't. They were all taking who they were taking. We literally tried to trade up. I don't get the argument. We rang the Patriots about 700 times trying to take Drake May, and they wouldn't have it. So stupid.
Those picks were locked in for a while.
Exactly. Like it was happening, irrespective of what anyone said we should have done. So it didn't matter. But honourable mentions, Malik Neighbours obviously has saved any face I have of this franchise. So thank you very much. I say Brian Thomas Jr. as well. Max didn't mention him there, but he's really good for Jacksonville, especially if
I forgot him. But
you get value for draft pick as well, considering when they got him, he's going to be their receiver of the future for a very, very long time. And then, just everyone else, Max, I'm not really going to add anyone else apart from Brian Thomas Jr., but I think he's definitely in there. Any of the nominations could have won it, and it wouldn't have really been arguable. I think they're all so good this year. It's a fantastic offensive draft class, and I feel like they're all going to be huge parts of their franchise. They're on for a very long time. Apart from Bo Nix, is like 30 years old already. Next up, we have defensive. I love him to bits, but yeah, need to get my Auburn jersey ordered soon. Next up, we got defensive rookie of the year, and Kian, you alluded to this a second ago, but I assume that's going to be your pick for this.
Yeah, I'm not even going to give you any honourable mentions because I've already said who it is. I think it's Jared Verse. He's been so good. Even in the playoffs, he stepped up. He looks like a veteran on the field already when he's only a rookie. I'm quite scared to see what he's going to do in the upcoming years. But yeah, what a player he is.
Yeah. If it was to give it for the most annoyingly catchy song, it would be Cooper DeJean. It's only stuck 100%. In my head 24/7.
DeJean is
not the same. It's rent-free in my head. I really wish he wasn't an Eagle because I really like him.
Yeah, he seems pretty sound, actually.
He does, yeah. I'd say it's Jared Verse for me as well. He's just been so good. You would not think he's a rookie at all.
No.
He's a fantastic pickup from the Rams in the draft. Honorable mentions, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. I think even Edgerrin Cooper I thought was really good for the Packers. But again, it was just overall, it's just a very good draft class, I think. There's been so many good players come out of this draft. and it's been one of the best we've seen for a very, very long time, especially that first round. I can count on like one hand the amount of misses in that first round of this draft. So fair play to the teams, and the players obviously have been unbelievable. But
JJ McCarthy. Anyway,
well, not strictly his fault, but
I suppose it's not really his fault.
well, but
he probably will be good. So we'll lay off him for now.
No, he's shy. Anyway, my pick. I have the same honourable mentions as James, Edgerrin Cooper, Quinion Mitchell. I didn't have a Cooper Gene down, but fair enough. He's great. You know, got a little white corner. But it's going to Jared Verse, obviously. People used to go to the Rams stadium. They'd be like, oh no, we got to play against Aaron Donald and the Rams defense. Teams are already now probably thinking, oh no, we've got to play against Jared Verse and the Rams defense, and he's a rookie. Aaron Donald was a veteran. They've not like for like replaced Aaron Donald because he's one of the better defensive players in the history of the sport. But if his career goes on like his rookie season has, he could be up there with him.
So we'll go next. I'll go to Coach of the Year because I feel like this one's got a lot more interest in recent weeks. Again, I don't know how much they take playoffs into consideration in the voting of this, because I don't know if this is also a regular season award or not. But Kian, who do you think is the Coach of the Year?
I would personally give it to Dan Quinn. They exceeded all expectations. Even if the playoffs aren't involved, they exceeded all expectations. The record they got, he took them to an AFC Championship game. I think it has to be Dan Quinn, and if it's not, then I'll be sort of questioning who they actually give it to.
Max?
The honourable mentions I've got down are Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, and Dan Quinn. I've gone with Kevin O'Connell personally because it is a coin toss between him and Dan Quinn. They both had not a lot, but made it work a lot better than people expected they would. If we're going off James's thing of earlier of it being a regular season award, it's definitely Kevin O'Connell. But obviously, Sam Darnold, the rest of the guys fumbled in the playoffs. But I'm genuine. I expected nothing from Sam Darnold and the Vikings, and they shocked me. So I'm giving it to Kevin O'Connell.
Based on the pure fact of some people predicting the Vikings starting the season 0-7 before we even started, I'm going to go Kevin O'Connell as well. As I said, I think it's a regular season award. I don't know if they all are or if it's just specific ones. But I just can't ignore taking Sam Darnold to a 14 and whatever it was, a 15-win season, so stupid.
14, I think they got.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous. And there's nothing on Dan Quinn. He's done an unbelievable job. But with a good quarterback, you can do a lot. With the bad quarterback, it's hard to get anything out of them. And he got Sam Darnold probably in for the first 6 weeks. Everyone thought he was an MVP candidate at points of it, just how well he was playing. So based on that, I'm going to get to Kevin O'Connell. Honourable mentions, as you said, Sean Payton, Dan Quinn. Sean McVay, I think, for the turnaround as well, I think definitely deserves a shout.
No Jim Harbaugh?
Oh, yeah, Harbour as well, yeah. Forgot about him completely. Yeah, I'd say if McVay as one you didn't mention, I think turning that Rams team around from 1-4, 0-4, whatever it was, to winning a playoff game is really, really impressive. So I'm going to say Kevin O'Connell. Next up, Max's least favourite award, as he didn't even want to put it in the award ceremony, the Comeback Player of the Year award. So it's supposed to be for players who come back from injury, but obviously it's gone out the window this year because Sam Darnold has been nominated for Comeback Player of the Year. Max, are you giving Sam Darnold the Comeback Player of the Year award?
Fucking give it to Damar Hamlin. I don't care.
That's who I was going to give it to.
This is now, you know, like Walter Payton's got an award. The Comeback Player of the Year is now the Damar Hamlin award. So you can have it if you want. It's the stupidest fucking award in the game. Who cares? Who's bothered? Joe Flacco got it and you were like, why? Don't make any sense.
I don't think it should go to Darnold because what is he coming back from? Being shit.
Yeah.
So, if it's all to do with injuries and nearly dying, then give it to Damar Hamlin because, maybe you should just win it every year.
I don't understand why Damar Hamlin has been nominated because he came back last year.
Yeah, it makes literally no sense. It's the stupidest award.
He did not come back this year. He played football last season and he should have won it last season, fair enough. but he can't win it again. He didn't come back from anything this year.
Joe Flacco was too good.
Last year, absolutely deserved it. Came back from basically dying on the field. But this year, he played last year, so I don't understand it. Joe Burrow, for me, came off a massive injury and was an MVP candidate quarterback.
Massive injury. He had fucking wanker's cramp. Grow up. He had a sore wrist.
I'm going with Joe Burrow. Maybe J.K. Dobbins as well. That was probably a good shout because he just had horrible time with injuries and looked really good this year for the Chargers. So there's sort of the actual awards. Now we've got our favourite moment of the season. I feel like I know what Max's might be, so I'll start with him.
See, I thought it was this, but I've just looked, and that is actually my honourable mention. My honourable mention is I've got two actually. Bills beating the Chiefs. That was a great day. It was a great night. There were basically fireworks in our living room when that happened. And the Saquon backwards hurdle, because that was ridiculous. However, this is going to be no one else's favourite moment on this podcast. The Browns beating the Steelers in the snow game was one to remember for me. The snow made it all cinematic and shit. You got Jameis Winston looking slinging dimes down the field, running for touchdowns. It was beautiful to watch. And even Nick Chubb scored in a season where it might be his last as a Brown, to be honest.
It's not what I thought you were going to say, but fair enough. I thought you were going to go down the road of Deshaun Watson getting injured, but...
Yeah, I did as well.
Don't worry, I've got another award lined up just for that motherfucker.
Yeah, right. Yeah, fair. Kian?
Mine's a weird one. My favourite moment of the year was when we fumbled that snap against the Chiefs and it lost us the game because it was just so funny. Like, at that point, I just knew that we had no hope to do anything. I was stood up, I was bouncing around the room thinking, here we go, we're going to beat the Chiefs for a second year running at Arrowhead. And then what even happened? But yeah, honourable mention goes to the Bills-Chiefs first game. That was a great laugh. I really enjoyed that night. As much as I'm a big... In fact, no. My favourite moment of the season was when we was at the practice days.
Yeah, actually. Yeah. That's a very good point. I didn't really think about that.
I was thinking more just watching it on the telly, but yeah that was mine as well.
Definitely mine. If we're talking but as far as watching it, Daniel Jones being traded was a pretty fantastic day for me. So that's probably one of mine. Or again, you said it with that thing, but I can't remember what game it was in. But when we had that fourth down play and we lost 7 yards, I can't remember who we played against, but he just threw it on a check down screen pass and we just got tackled straight away.
That's my favorite fourth down of the year.
Yeah, that was my favorite fourth down of the year as well. Because what on earth were we even thinking with that one? So yeah, but Daniel Jones being traded was a fantastic day for everyone involved in the Giants organization, and saved me from more years of any pain until we get Jameis Winston in free agency.
What did you think of that?
Yes, Ian, very good point about the award training days. Obviously, that was a very cool experience for all of us to go to them, and hopefully we'll be at them again next season. Moving on. So, Max, so we've all basically picked our, apart from Kian, I don't really know what you're doing here, Kian, but we've all picked our own awards to give to a player. Max, I'm not going to say yours. You can say it.
Welcome to the Fourth Down Focus NFL Honors 2024 season edition. This is the biggest waste of money / oxygen award. Drum roll. Guess who it's going to? Deshaun Watson! Come down. Get your fucking trophy, you prick. That made me feel any better. Anyone else want to give their piece?
No, because I think your answer is probably spot on.
It is.
Justin Tucker.
Justin Tucker might be up there, but he'll be a Browns.
He's not wasted much. He's not wasted much money.
True.
That's true. He's a kicker.
Daniel Jones.
Nah, he's not an oxygen.
He's waste of money.
But it's both of them.
Oxygen.
Well, he doesn't do anything very useful, so he's not helping anyone.
Yeah.
Lovely bloke.
He might make a lovely tea.
I bet he does a good barbecue.
Right, I'll leave the oxygen part of it then. But biggest waste of money, he's up there with Deshaun. Bloody hell.
You've got to consider Dak Prescott as well.
Oh, God. Yeah, that is a both on that one.
Yeah, that's my award for this year, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure you all agree. You better do anyway, or you're not welcome to watch this podcast anymore.
Well, my award was a bit more less morbid, I guess, or just not mentioning Deshaun Watson because you can't fit in this one because no one rates him. Mine is the most overrated player in the NFL this season. I think it's an interesting one to ask. I'm going to let one of you to answer this first. For context as well, I saw this on, was it ML Football, and theirs was Dak Prescott, which was interesting.
Barely fucking played.
Max, who do you think was the most overrated player?
There's some people that overrate Deshaun Watson. Does that mean I can?
I promise you, there's not.
What is wrong?
There's a small contingent of Browns fans on Twitter that are dead set on the fact that he's not the problem and they need their heads testing. And if any of them are watching this, fuck off, go away.
Anyway. Yeah, with what he's done, mate, I don't even think his mum's in that conversation.
Yeah,
yeah, true.
Most overrated player, is that what we're doing?
Yeah, overrated.
You've not given me enough time to prepare for this, James.
Sorry. I didn't say it.
Did we not do this on like the last episode we did?
No.
As like the end of episode question, I swear we did.
I don't think so.
I'm trying to think of who I said in that episode.
You did it before, then you should know your answer.
Tyreek Hill.
That's who he said. Yeah, we've done this before.
No, I swear we didn't do overrated. Did we?
We did.
No,
we did overrated and underrated.
No, we're doing it.
Yeah,
again.
we did.
Yeah, and he picked Tyreek, and I can't remember who the fuck I picked.
I'm sticking with Tyreek.
Jaden Daniels.
Grow up.
I knew there'd be a few nibbles on that one. Nice, Tyreek Hill. I don't really get Dak Prescott because I don't really think anyone really rated him this season.
Oh, I know what I said. I said Amari Cooper. I stand by it.
Does anyone rate him either?
Yeah, he's wide receiver one.
This season?
Well, what are we talking about going into the season? This is a full season awards show, James.
Well, yeah, but like, as far as this season, did anyone actually rate Amari Cooper at any point during the season?
Yeah, I did. And he left. So fuck him.
Yeah, I'll say Tyreek Hill because as whatever was he not ranked the number one best player with the NFL at the start of the season?
We had this conversation last time.
Yeah, number one best player. You should be doing.
We're getting deja vu here.
I am.
Kian, have you got an award for us?
I have. It's the Antonio Brown CTE Man of the Year award. And what that is what player had the biggest CTE moment on the field?
Two of Iloa, everyone.
I'm going to go first. I was going to give it to George Pickens for just his mentalness. And then Frankie Louvu did what he did.
Oh, shit. That's a good one.
I honestly think
show.
Frankie Louvu takes this trophy home 100%.
I feel
Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball at any given point during the regular season.
I'll change my mind. I've got two other ones. Will Levis's entire season, or that one Kenny Pickett pass when he kind of threw the ball on the floor. That's what the award goes to Kenny Pickett for that. That's my award. That was fucking...
Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers for just throwing the ball at any given time, just being useless all season, probably got to be up there for a shout.
Can't believe no one's given it to Tua.
I saw one as well, biggest draft bust of the year. I don't really know because everyone was so good.
I'm not sure I could do it.
I'm trying to go...
Is JJ McCarthy
No.
Because he hasn't played. I think it's harsh to call him a bust.
He will be, but no.
Like, you know, if he's crap next season, you can give it to him then. But as far as this season goes, was there any terrible picks in the first round?
I'm trying to think of it off the top of my head.
Not really.
Let me have a look at the draft.
Marvin Harrison wasn't what I thought he'd be.
But a bust?
If you
Dunze?
It's not a bust, but if you...
Dunze is a good one.
If you redraft the class, knowing what you know now, I don't think Marvin Harrison's even top 10. And he went at 4.
You went at 4, yeah. I mean, if you think you went before Neighbours...
The top 5 pick is, valuable. You know what I mean? And you went before Neighbours and Bowers, who both had Offensive Rookie of the Year caliber seasons.
I mean, you're taking Neighbours, Brian Thomas Jr., Bowers, all before Marvin Harrison in a redraft.
Yeah.
But apart from that, he's probably ranked either 4. So Brian Thomas went at 23. So, yeah, I suppose you could say that. I'm just looking through it, And if I go for the top 10, for example, you had Caleb Williams, which is an interesting topic. Jane Daniels, Drake May, Marvin Harrison, Joe Alt, Malik Neighbours, JC Latham, Michael Penix, Roma Dunze, and JJ McCarthy. I think a Dunze out of that for production on draft pick is got to be up.
I don't think you can blame him for it. I think more of the blame would go to the man who got picked first. No offense, Caleb. I love you, mate. You're a lovely man. But,
I'd say Olu Fashanu as well. It was terrible for the Jets for most part of the season.
Who was that?
Olu Fashanu, the Jets tackle. Their O-line was terrible. He didn't make it any better.
Yeah, I don't know.
Apart from that, they're all just solid players. Like Terry Arnold probably wasn't what everyone expected at corner, but he was at 24. You know what I mean? It's not like a massive pick. Actually, I'll give the biggest draft bust to the Bills for trading down and taking Keon Coleman instead of Xavier Worthy, because what a stupid decision that was.
Come back to bite them in the worst way.
Keon Coleman has not been great either for what he's worth.
Not really.
So I'm giving it to the Bills. The biggest draft bust was the Bills taking Keon Coleman instead of Xavier Worthy.
I don't know if that's what a draft bust means, but yeah.
It's too early probably because it's so early in the class we can't really tell. They could have one good season and never be good again. So I'm sure in a few years we'll find out. But
if we're basing it off just this season alone, I'd have to give it to my good friend Caleb Williams. But like you said, you can't call someone a bust this early, and I think he will be really good. So
the one I saw online was Rook Ohororo, whatever you say it.
Rook my favorite name in the draft.
That's what the fans voted as the worst draft player of the year. But he was in the second round.
He's got the best name though.
He was taken third in the second round. I don't really feel like that's that big of a deal.
But he sounds like Scooby-Doo sneezing when you say his name.
Jalen Polk, to be fair, for the Patriots, the 37 was pretty shocking.
We're just nitpicking at this point. I think it's way too easy to call anyone a bust after year one.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Right, so I think that's, unless anyone wants to add any more awards, that is our NFL.
No, I've not got any more.
Worst GM of the year, Andrew Berry, and the podcast, James.
Right, yeah, I'm just going to leave it before you've got another 20-minute rant about this whole Myles Garrett situation. So that is all from us for this week. So obviously, the regular season is now done, as well as the whole season is now done. So after this week, you'll be seeing some different content from us. We don't really know what yet, but we're going to try and think of something.
Draft content.
You'll see a lot of draft content from now until whenever the draft is in April. That'll be our focus going forward.
Draft prospects, all that stuff.
We'll obviously review the Super Bowl when we can as well. But apart from that, it'll be a lot of stuff on draft review. We'll probably do some profiles on some players, and we will all do our own mock drafts. Maybe we'll all do a first round one. We'll all do one for our teams. And ideally, we did say this, we're hoping to get as many of you guys on here and doing your own first 3 rounds of your team.
Three?
It takes 10 minutes to do 3 picks for them, not? Or even just
that's someone who doesn't care about his mock drafts. He doesn't take anything into consideration.
Right, okay. Well, so if your first round pick from each of the teams that obviously we've got 4 covered. We've got our teams covered here, but we're hoping to get as many of you lot on. So if you want to be on the podcast, let us know in the comments, or message us on any of our socials and say what team you support and who you are. If you're a Giants fan, a Raiders fan, a Bengals fan, or a Browns fan, I'm sorry, but you're probably not going to be on because we're already going to do that ourselves.
Honestly, you can take over from me because I'm fucking sick of this now. Honestly.
There you can replace Max as the Browns fan. Apart from that, if you're a fan of any of the other 27, 28 teams, then let us know in the comments down below, and we'll try and get you on for your own little who you're going to pick in the first draft.
Join the Discord.
Yes, we'll link the Discord in the description. So that'll be, again, that's another point of call. But again, you can follow me, Kian, Max, or just the Fourth Down Focus socials on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and message us on there. But that is all from us this week. So we will see you all after the Super Bowl and after we have now got a painful wait until the start of the season again in September. Thanks to Kian and Max for joining me as always. And we will see you all next time.